Stitches and Sundries. My name is Lauren. You can find me on Instagram at LaurenUpStitching. And this is a podcast about cross-stitch and stitchy goodness. I have had a little bit of an influx of new subscribers lately. And so many people have been so kind and been like, YouTube recommended me, or this other channel recommended me. And it's been so lovely to see you all. I was here on my own little like dark corner of the internet and people have found me, and that is so cool. So if you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to ramble at you and be incoherent at points. And if you've stuck around through that, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out, because it's so much fun. This is like a highlight for me. I love talking to people in the comments and sharing what I'm working on because it's such a big part of my life. An all-consuming part of my life, it feels like sometimes. But again, I'm Lauren and I stitch a variety of projects. I'm on a summerween kick right now because I'm just feeling the spooky season. I'm ready for fall. I am ready for, you know, cooler temperatures and crisp leaves and long evenings. Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I hate wishing my life away a little bit like that, but I'm hot. And I don't want to be hot anymore. So, yeah. So, life updates. Not a lot going on. July was a pretty, despite feeling overwhelmingly busy and I was exhausted all the time. Like, I felt like I didn't get a ton of good stitching in. Looking back, it wasn't that bad. But, like, we didn't really have a lot going on. We were just busy all the time. Like, every weekend was absolutely packed with household projects and running here and running there. We had a family picnic to go to where I got, oh, I'll have to tell you my bee sting story. Nothing to do with the family picnic, but I got bug bit to absolute crap there. And then the one thing we did do this month is we went down to Charleston, West Virginia. We were going to go to the Village Sampler, which is a cross stitch store down there. And just through a series of not timing things super well, we missed it by 4 minutes. Like, I was like, let's go. It is 4:54 and they close at 5. Ouch. That was, yeah, so that was just like not good planning on our part. But it was a super fun day. I got to go with my friend Devin and her husband and my sister Sarah. We went to game stores, went out to eat. It was super lovely day. And yeah, that's kind of all that's been happening, but I've been stitching and starting new projects and it has been super fun. So, oh, let me tell you my bee sting story. So, you see my arm? Oh yeah, it's showing up pretty well actually. This past weekend, was getting out of the shower, grabbed a towel, drying off, and something starts stinging the ever-loving crap out of my wrist. And then something gets a really good sting. And I'm throwing the towel away I'm trying to get the towel away from me. And it turns out we had a hornet's nest on the front porch. My sister taking care of the hornet's nest, no big deal, killed everything in it, got rid of the nest. A hornet at some point got inside and thought, oh, inside this bath towel, that is where I will hide to cause the most trauma to this family. So I throw the towel in the shower, stomp it and when Sarah gets home, I'm like, there's something in the shower I need you to take care of. I stomped on it, but there was a towel in the way and I don't think I killed it. Meanwhile, my wrist is like inflating. And I was like, I'm not allergic to bees. So I was like, I mean, it was a hornet sting and it got me like 5 or 6 times. And it was obviously pretty bad. But the first day, nothing. All day Saturday, nothing happened. Sunday, it starts to swell up. I get hot to the touch. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, I'm going to put some cream on it, see if it goes down. Monday, it's still just as bad. In fact, it's like growing like out into the side of my wrist, like out to the sides, was all swollen up. It was so hot. And I went in and I got some steroids and everything and it's doing better. But for like 4 days, I had to put anti-itch ointment on it all the time because I wanted to chew my own arm off. It itched so bad. And the ointment really got in the way of doing anything. One, it was hard to do much of anything other than think about how bad my arm itched. But, and it was really stiff. Like the swelling made like the wrist stiff and everything. And so I was like, couldn't really stitch. I couldn't really do anything because I didn't want to get ointment on my fabric. My wrist hurt. So I was like, damn it, for like 4 days, I couldn't do anything. And now it's clearing up. But I mean, it was all the way down to here was like red and swollen. And I was like, what is the point of these creatures? Why do we have them? This is awful. And we went to my family's picnic the next day where I just got bug bit just everywhere. So the itching did not stop. And my family was like, wow, that is really bad. Because at this point it was quite swollen. And I'm like, yeah, the freaking white-faced hornets or pale-faced hornets or something. And they're like, oh yeah, those are really bad this year. They're everywhere. And I'm like, are we all just getting bit to shit? Yes, we were. So that was my hornet story, and it was awful. I don't want to be vulnerable while I'm getting out of the shower, you know what I mean? Like, this is not where I want that to happen. So now after I get a shower, I flap the towels. I'm like, what's in here? Like, not happening again. So for stitchy stuff, I have a finish, a fully finish, a number of whips, and a number of new starts. I think at least 3 new starts. So I'm just looking at the bag and we'll just like deal with the bag as I pull stuff out of it. So I have projects, lots of projects. I made progress. It felt like I wasn't doing much. And then I like kicked it into gear the last part of the month and really made some progress. So let's talk about finishes. Dun, 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 dun. Done. Fully finished. This is Dungeon Master by StitchItPicasso. This is part of a set of RPG classes that she has that I'm stitching all of them on. And I finished it in hoop. I probably could have ironed this fabric better, but nobody's ever going to see it. It took me a couple tries to find a hoop that was the right size. Like, I bought several of these, like, I like these display hoops. Off of Amazon. Every time I was like, okay, 5.75 inches. That is the perfect amount to get right up here. And I'd come and they'd be like, and I'm like, what did it say? Centimeters? Like, what is going on? Why are these not right? And it's like, oh, it measured from the like the buyer measured from the outside, not the like something weird was happening. Took me multiple tries. So this is not a perfect fit, but it's pretty damn good. And I think it looks really great. So I love this finish. It's going on my gaming wall. And I'm definitely going to do more of these. I want to do most of the set. We play Pathfinder, which is slightly different than D&D, so there's more classes available. And I'm working on getting designs for those. And I'm now thinking, like, looking at the size of this, and I love this size, but I'm like, man, a lot of these, all the same size, might be a little, like, cluttered and distracting. So I'm thinking about making them in different sizes. So some bigger, some smaller, you know. I think that could be really a good way to like break up a collection. And yeah, so I am really loving this. And this was a project I started last year. And so I am super happy to have this done. And I really like the style of design for this. Like, it looks very, like, this dice looks very three-dimensional. Like, things look like they have weight. And I really like that. So that's ready to go on the wall. All right, next finish, and I'm going to turn this into a finish whip update, is, because this is kind of like an ongoing project of smalls. So Stitch Crypt on Patreon is doing a year of cryptids, or cryptid culture, she calls it. And so every month she releases a new cryptid. And this was this was June's. I was behind one. I have July's done as well, but this was June's, the Chupacabra. And it is done. This was stitched on 32 count platinum linen from Zweigart, off of 123 Stitch. If you'd stop flapping around. Yeah, and it came out great. I'm loving this green olivey color on this Took me a couple tries again to find the right fabric for this, and I think this was such a good choice. I love these holding that goat. And yeah, so that one is all done. So I now have 9 out of the 13 done. Loving it. And is this June? I can't remember dates. She just released her one for August. This is the Frogman. Ah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the Frogman. Like I was hoping. Let me find my bag. Let me show you my plan. I was really hoping for the Frogman to be on this because it's like a mystery stitch along. You don't know what you're getting each month. But I am planning to finish these as a collection, as a bunting, pennant bunting. And so I kind of needed to know in my head like where I want color placement and blah blah. So I started a list of like what I think she's going to do, and Frogman was a guess right. So I have that right. I know what fabric it's going on. I also am assuming, so for this fabric, I am assuming just because he's the king, we're going to get a Bigfoot. And Bigfoot is going to go on this linen fabric. And I am also thinking we'll probably get a jackalope. So right now, I have pinned Bigfoot and jackalope to this fabric. This fabric is going to have 3 on it, and it's going to be Bigfoot and a jackalope. I'm pretty sure she'll do those. However, July's pattern has thrown me off a little bit because July was the Cactus Cat. And that was not on my list. Like, that is a much more obscure cryptid. And so I'm like, okay, the Cactus Cat. So here's my progress on the Cactus Cat. Show it here for you. Oh, my hoop line should have ironed. There's my progress on Cactus Cat. He is looking so good. He's kind of, right now he's kind of looking like Pickle Cat. And maybe that's the way the green is like popping off this dark gray fabric. But I'm really loving him. He's looking great. So I'm also going to do Frogman on this. I have lots of this dark gray fabric. There's the Squonk, which was earlier in the year. So I'm loving how this green is turning out on this. It is popping so beautifully. I think I've only got like 500 stitches left, and then this one will be done, and I will start on Frogman. So yeah, this one threw me off. I had to replace something in my list to get Cactus Cat on there. So, you know, she might not be going for just the big ones. Currently, I am pretty sure she is going to do Bigfoot, Jackalope, and Jersey Devil. I assume those are going to come out. However, then there's like, I've got like a few options for the last one. I am really loving this project. It's a nice small, you get to use lots of bright colors. There's something kind of interesting about each one of them. They're a really fun stitch along to do. And she just had a, like if you join the Patreon, you can get some of the old patterns like at a discount, because I think each month is only up for like 3 or 4 months. So like January's is gone now. But she has lots of ways to like get them all. So, oh, put my thing back. Put my list, this very important list. Come here. So yeah, I'm excited to get those all done because right now they're sitting in my book marked like finished but not fully finished. And so it goes from like yellow to green. So like blank, yellow, green when it's finished. And so I just have all these tabs that are marked yellow. And that's not, I want a check mark. I want it done, you know? All right. Other whips. Chupy, hang on. We'll put Chupy away. So if you're hanging out with me today, tell me, are you guys getting ready for Summerween? Are you doing Christmas stitching? Like, what are you just like, I do what I want. I am a free spirit. Like, what are you getting into stitching lately? Like, obviously I am on like a smalls kick and a Halloween kick. Like, smalls this year have been so much fun, but like, what's your vibes right now? Like, I want to know. All right, whips. Let's just pull from the bag. What is this? That's a new start. Holding on to that. I have a system. All right, let's put the ones that are done over here. All right, what's this one? Okay, so this is Tea Time by Riolis. It's a Riolis kit that I started in 2021 and that I am focused on getting done this year. And here's where I was last time. So this was a really big focus for the last 2 months. I am down to, I think I only have about 2,000 stitches left, like right around there. And I just realized I forgot a big finish and a whole story after this. I just saw a thing on my table, reminded me. But here is where I'm at on Tea Time. So I pretty much have, this whole side is done. It is backstitched. It is ready. This side I am working on, there's one more clump of flowers like out this way. Stop. Hold upright. I've got the teapot to fill in, and there's a little bit of shelf right here. I think these bottoms are all done. And then there's back stitching on the teapot and in the flowers. I'm going to try and start some of the back stitching, so it's just like stitch as you go. Then there are little drawer tabs to put on each of these, but they're like really small and like quick. That won't be bad at all. So I did a bunch of back stitching this last time. So I back stitched the like milk jug there. I did around the shelf and the bottom of the teacup and the cinnamon sticks that are hanging out there. So I've really been trying to keep up with the back stitching as I go. I really like this kit. It's actually really, I'm loving the colors. I am like loving the colors. And as a tea girl, this is like right up my alley, but it is just kind of hard to get motivated to get out. So I've really enjoyed like having it as a focus piece. Like I get out, I work it on 2 days, and then I'm allowed to switch it up to something else, but I should probably get to this twice in a week. So like 4 days out of the 7, I should get something done on this, even if it's just a little back stitching. And so that has helped really push it forward. And I've been doing my rolling dice, which has been really awesome and helpful. So, because it like comes up randomly too. So some, like 1 week, this, I was like, okay, do my 2 days, and then I rolled and I got it again. So I did like 6 days on it. So that's what like made it start making progress towards the end of the month, is it kind of kept coming up. So that has been, it's a fun project, and it is like nice to work on. There is something about the like woolen kind of like textured threads that is just different to work on. So I think that might just like, my brain is like, this is different. I don't know about this. This is different. It doesn't call to me the way other things do. So yeah. All right. So I forgot. This is the thing that happened. I entered my local county fair. I live in Garrett County, Maryland, near Deep Creek Lake, if you're in the area. And my local county fair, I have entered the past 2 or 3 years projects in. And every year something happens to my project. They do not put their craft goods in a building. They put it in a barn. And the barn is dusty. It has a leaking roof. And it is, they have to put like big sheets of plastic over everything so you can't see anything because it is dirty. It is a dirty open barn. And multiple people have complained about this, and they're like, well, we built this brand new air-conditioned, beautiful building. Where do we put tractors? We put tractors in there. And it is insane. So this last year I was like, I'm not entering the fair. I've gotten something back broken, dirty, or like just kind of banged up every year. I'm not doing it anymore. So a friend of mine enters in the Allegheny County Fair, which is one county over. We're very, very close. And I was like, he's like, oh, come enter with us. And I'm like, I don't think you can do that. Like, I think you have to be a resident. He's like, no, that's not a thing. I was like, what? Why wouldn't that be a thing? He's like, because why would anybody want to enter? Like, it's not like somebody from New York is going to come down here and like blow us all out of the, like, why would they care about entering? The max you can win is $5. Like, it's just open. You can enter whatever you want. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. I was like, wait, do they put their stuff in a building? He's like, yes. The air-conditioned building is where they put all the things. So I entered. I entered 4 pieces. I entered my finish I'm going to show you. I entered a pillow you might have seen in the past. This is I Want to Believe by Alliton Embroidery. Finished as a pillow. Entered this pillow. I entered Make Today Magical by Tiny Modernist, which was a wall hanging. And I entered Beggar's Luck by Threadwork Primitives. I'll check that. I'll check. I'm like feeling like that's not right. It is a primitive designer, but I don't think that's right. I'll check. I'll put the name up underneath it. And no one else entered cross stitch. So they were very kind and gave me first place in all those. However, there were people entering needlework. So there was a couple embroidery pieces, a really beautiful embroidery piece of monarch butterflies, like going through their life cycle, but it like was contained. It was like complete, like, it was like a complete thing. It wasn't just stage. So it was really beautiful. There was some crewel work. There was some needlepoint. And so, but I got the showcase for the needlework category with this one. Oh, it's big and heavy. This is CryptoNaturalist Sampler by Screaming Heart Designs. And I got it fully finished just in time to enter the fair, and my lights are shining all over it. But, oh my goodness. Yeah, this is fully finished by a local framer. I knew I was going to struggle to frame this myself. I frame a lot of my pieces myself. But I was not confident in something, one, this big, and two, I needed really straight lines. And the fabric was quite soft. It was like, to get it to be straight was going to take a professional, I felt. And so the guy that did it, and he said, was like, that was a bit of a struggle. Like, it was really, it wanted to be out of line. I was like, I knew that was going to be a problem. So he helped me pick out this beautiful frame and put it all together, and it looks gorgeous. Gorgeous. I stitched this on 28 count Crystal Highland by Picture This Plus, and this is what reminded me. I got my little showcase ribbon. And it's so pretty and rainbowy and gorgeous. So I was very pleased with that. I will definitely try to enter again next year. It was a super fun experience. Like, my friend enters photography. Quilts are obviously the, like, the place of honor. And there were some gorgeous, amazing quilts. Another friend of mine entered knitting. And so we got to, like, walk around and ooh and ah at each other's stuff. And then also, like, find, like, oh, this person beat me in, you know, colorwork shawls. Like, let's go look up, oh, I know this person, you know, like, I didn't know she knit. And that was, like, super fun and, like, neat. And, like, the girl that did the embroidery, we got to talk about, like, you know, nobody does this craft and it's so cool to meet other people. So it was a really lot of fun. So I highly recommend, if you have a local county fair that does not treat your pieces like crap, if you have a local county fair, it's a super fun, you know. And I got, like, I think I got $15. $20 because I got 4 pieces. So, like, that's $20 I didn't have. Who cares? But that really wasn't the point. It was like, it was a lot of fun. So this is my other fully finished piece. And I love it so much. I really originally stitched this to go in an office at work. And then I don't have an office anymore. I have a cubicle. And so I am not allowed to decorate the walls. Like I can decorate the walls of my cubicle, but that's obviously a little too big for a cubicle wall. But my cubicle butts up against an actual wall. And I asked like, who could I put something up? And they're like, no. We're at a big end. Like nobody's putting anything up on these walls. I'm so annoyed. I'm like, you won't let me put my crap up, but you're not putting anything else up either. So it's a big echoey box. Put some stuff on the walls. Says the girl who's like trying to fill every inch of wall space. I'm drinking Night Owl tea from the Baltimore Tea Company. And it is so good. It's so good. But it's like a high caffeine. And it's kind of like morning here. It's like a perfect day. All right. Distracted. It was a good distraction though. Back into whips. This one is You Rock by Stitchrovia. And here's where I was. Put that up in some order. And there is a girl on Instagram, and I should have looked her up before I came down here. I will put her title somewhere, who is doing whip prompts. So like on the 1st and the 15th of each month, she will give like a little prompt that's like, work on something with a heart in it. Work on something, you know, that you started with someone else. Work on something, or that you're stitching with someone else. Work on something that is pink, right? She'll give you a little prompt, and it can either be like, oh, pick one of your whips to work on during this like 15-day period, or start some, if none of your whips like meet this category, start something new. Excuse me. Super cute idea. Really have liked it. And so her prompt for the 15th of July, which is when I saw it, was stitch on something sentimental. And I was like, oh, I don't really have anything. And then I thought of this. And I am, the piece itself is not particularly sentimental, but here's where I'm at on it. But I am stitching it to go, I'm trying to put a little record corner together with all my mom's records. And so it made me think of her. And so I think that is sentimental. This is, what did I get done? I think I got all of this phonograph done. The ukulele, the boombox, started on this French horn. Might have gotten that pan flute done. Got all this back stitching for the bars, the music bars there, done. And yeah, it's coming along. I'm like 60-ish% done on this. I'm really loving this black on this yellow. This is 28 count Sunflower Lugana from Bestitch Me. I got in a mystery box. I love Bestitch Me's mystery boxes. I think I just did an unboxing not too long ago of one of her boxes. Love them. This is so gorgeous. And I can't wait to have this piece done. It's going to look awesome. How did I fold this? I really like stitching on this. There's something about just like kind of like mono. It's not quite monochrome. Like if it was just black or just a single color stitching. There's something about that that's so potato chippy. You just like go. You don't even notice like how much progress you're making. It's great. Where did I put the bag? One done. All right. So this was, that was July 15th, which I should probably have an update. That was July 15th theme. Or August 1st, so August 1st to 15th was stitch on something you're stitching with someone else. And I was like, oh, or you started with someone else, I think it was. And I was like, ooh, what could I do? I was like, wait, I'm part of a couple sals. That's starting with someone else. And so this is my sal that I'm working on. This is, and I'll put up the newest part. They just released part 8, I think. This is the Mushrooms and Toadstools Sal by Forest Embroidery. It's a free sal they have going on now. So the pattern is completely free, and I got the kit because I wanted the fabric. I really wanted the fabric. But you can just get the sal and put it on whatever you want. Like, I'm sure there are some beautiful fabrics that this would go on. And this is where it was. And do I need to unfold all this? No. This is where I'm at. So I got the brown bolette done. I think it just needed its little cap there. And I got the morels completely done. I love how they did the morels. Like, I love how they got that lacy texture to the morels. Like, I love how they represented that. And I got this border on the right here all done. It's my right here on this side when I'm facing it this way. So next up they have, I think it's called the Slippery Jack mushroom here. And the chanterelle will go up here at the top. And they just released a new one, and I cannot remember. Rosalia mushroom right here, and the top border. So that will all go on. I am freaking loving this color palette. It's so just like fall vibes, but also like warm, you know, browns and reds and oranges. Like, it just is like speaking to me right now as I'm ready for my cozy fall getaway. Like, really enjoying this sal. This is 30 count linen that was custom made for them with these like printed like ferns and things. You can see the ferns, how they like peek out from behind the mushrooms to make it look like complete in some way. So I'm doing this with the Forest hand-dyed flosses and this fabric. I got the whole kit as a birthday gift to myself months before my birthday. But that, who cares? Who cares? We gotta get ourselves stitchy gifts sometime, right? So I've really enjoyed that one. That one has been a lot of fun. And it's really nice, like when I get it out, I'm like, ooh, I feel like I haven't gotten this out in a while. Ooh, it's so nice to stitch on. All right. This next one is Reliquary by Night Spirit Studio, who I freaking love her stuff. And I am also on her Patreon, and she has some really fun Patreon, lots of smalls, speaks to me, lots of little spooky smalls, so I highly recommend. I've really enjoyed being on people's Patreons. At some point I'll put up where I was. I've really enjoyed that, and I've actually just found a couple more that I might be joining. And it's like, I would easily spend more than, you know, $5 a month on patterns. Like, pretty easily. So to give it to also supporting an actual designer, like, all right, I'm going to go on a little mini rant. I've been getting back into journaling. Like, I used to bullet journal very heavily. I kind of like fell away from doing the like journal setup and design part of things, but I still use like the bullet journal system every day for my work and for everything. And so recently I was like, I really want to get back into like fully doing the journaling. I feel a little scattered. I feel like I've got a lot going on. I feel like it could really help to like have a dedicated journal. So I'm going to get back into journaling. And something else came up, which I'll talk about at the end of the video, that I was like, oh, a journal for that would be really nice to have. So I started like looking into getting back into journaling, and I do papercraft. I make floss books. I make pages, which I don't have my notebook with me. I don't have my notebook with me that has all my new pages. I'll have to show them to you next time. I make pages for each of my projects in my stitching journal. I love that stuff. And the amount of AI BS that is out there is overwhelming. It is so hard to find someone, because it is easy to quickly put out volumes of stuff. It is hard to find actual designers for papercraft. And I feel like the same is happening for cross stitch of like, I had to really look and consider. And I've gone through my Etsy and culled some shops I was following because Etsy's really bad for it. Really bad for it. Like I wish they could have like a filter like no AI. But I would so much rather my $5 be going to a designer like the Witchy Stitcher, Night Spirit Studio, the Stitch Crypt, the Crafty Housewife. Like, you know, like those are designers. They have thought about their pattern. They have put effort into it. And they make something that is unique and speaks with their voice. And like, that's so much more where I want my money to go. And it's just like, it's not like super frustrating. I'm not like saying like, oh, if you do this, you're the devil. Like, it's just like, dudes, in the amount of time it takes Witchy Stitcher to make a single pattern, like, you know, a month or 2 weeks. I saw a person upload, it was like a Halloween cupcake. And they uploaded 7, and each of them was just like tweaked. And it was very obvious they went like, oh, make vanilla, not chocolate, AI thing. Throw it into a pattern maker, you know, just like that'll take a photo and turn it into a pattern. Add cherry, another pattern. You know, add peppermint stick, another pattern. Like, you know, just like, so they were able to put out 8 in the amount of time that, now granted, they weren't the best quality. And like, if you stitched on them, I think you'd figure that out pretty quickly. Like, I have definitely, when I first got started, picked up some of those like, oh, we took a famous piece of artwork and just threw it into a pattern creator and here's a pattern for the Kiss. Gustav Klimt's The Kiss. And I started on it and was like, holy crap, this is pretty garbage actually. Like, none of the colors are lining up right. There'll be like like in a, you know, 600 color thing, there'll be like, not 600 colors, but like in a 45 color thing, there'll be things that have like, there's 3 colors. There's 3 stitches of a single color. It's like, that's not thought out. That wasn't like done by a human. So like, if you stitched on these things, they're not going to be that good. So anyway, that's my little AI rant. It's been bothering me lately. Like, I'm like, man, this is like, and not even like a, ooh, I got taken in. Like some of it's pretty obviously like not good. But I have to filter through all this not good junk to find something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little frustrating. Anyway, here's where I am in Reliquary. Side tangent rant out of the way. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I hadn't quite finished this moth. So this moth is now completely stitched in. There's some back stitching that needs done on it for like the legs and stuff. And I did a bunch of progress up here on the reliquary, the frame part of it. Got my little candle started. I am really liking this. I'm more and more surprised how much I like it on this fabric. When I first started, I was like, ooh, do I like it on this fabric? I can't quite tell. But more and more, I am really, really liking it on this fabric. It lightens it somehow by making this black seem even darker. So yeah, I am really enjoying this. This is a 32 count remnant that I got at the Village Sampler, so I have no clue what it is. And it just has a little bit of like here and there, like color splashes. One right there. And I really like how that has turned out. Oh, the little fat cat has gotten out of her pillow closet. What you doing, chum? She's leaving and ignoring you. But yeah, that is really coming along. I like this again. This is very potato chippy. Just take that black and start working your way around the frame, and like there's enough of it, you'll be there for days. But it is really fun. I think I'm like I think I'm like 35% done on this one. So this one's like moving a little slower. It's not one I think to get out all the time. It doesn't like, but when I get it out, I'm like, ooh, that's right. I love this thing. So that's why I've really enjoyed the dice rolling, because it kind of like forces me to get out stuff that is not my first instinct, you know? Like, if I could very easily be a monogamous stitcher, I think. I love having multiple projects going, and I love like having rapid fire finishes as things get done. Like, I love that. But I could very easily fall into just getting out the same thing over and over again. All right. All right, so my last whip, this is Crane at Sunset. This is an embroidery kit that my sister got me. No designer, as far as I can tell. I think it's just a dropship thing. Etsy again, being its self. And there's where I was. And here is where I am. So I've been working on the crane and then got down in here into the trunk of the tree. I need to do a little bit of like fixing, like right here. You can kind of tell it's like a little bit of a mess. But yeah, I have definitely made some projects. This came up in my rolling again. So it was like a thing like I wouldn't have thought to get out. And now I am making progress on it again. And as the more I work on it, the more I'm like, I don't think embroidery is specifically for me. I don't think it's a craft that, I mean, I enjoy it, but it's just like, I would so much rather be working on cross stitch. And one of the reasons for that is I never feel like I'm getting the result exactly the way I want, because it's much more freeform. Like, I like cross stitch because it scratches that like Lego itch of like, here are the instructions. If you follow the instructions, you will get this result. And I'm like, I want that result. So I will just, oh, look, I did it. It makes me very satisfied to be like, and I got exactly what was pictured in my head. Whereas embroidery feels much more like, this isn't turning out exactly the way I want. What am I doing wrong? And it's like, well, you're not doing anything wrong. It's a, what's this one called? I mean, it's not a satin stitch. Satin stitch is pretty straightforward, but like, let's say satin stitch because I can't think of the other words. It's a satin stitch. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not looking like your picture. And they're like, well, everybody does a satin stitch a little differently. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to do it your way. And they're like, well, you are doing it differently than that. I'm like, so what do I do to make it not look wrong? Well, everybody does it differently. I don't want to do it differently. I want to get the result I want. So like, that's like the thing that's like, I want to, but I'm definitely going to finish this. I think it's very cute. I also love that this is a like beginner's kit that is not florals. Like a lot of beginner's kit are like start with like roses and things like that, which I understand. You can get a lot of stitches to like teach people a lot of different stitches in a floral. It's just not my vibe. But do you know whose vibe this very much is? My sister's. Interesting gift. But it is nice to make progress on this and like test out a new skill and like scratch a different part of my brain. I just don't think it's a part I'm going to like actively keep trying to scratch. If that makes sense. People that can do it, I think are amazing. Like if you can like make that make sense and get like the result you want. I just don't have that like improv skill. You know what I mean? That skill to like make a decision. It's a type of creativity that is just not a skill I have. And probably because I don't work it very often. I don't need to. It's fine. I work in spreadsheets all day. Like I'm good. All right. I think those are all my whips. So I have 3 new starts. Damn, I really almost want to run up and get my thing. I won't, because I have some really cool pages for these new starts. I really, maybe when I am done tea time, when tea time is done, that'll be the last. Oh no, it won't be tea time. Tag on. Maybe I'll just have to do it sometime. My 2023 project book. So when I finish a project, I put it in the year I started the project, right? So like 2023, I still have Greenhouse of Oddities and You Rock are projects I started in 2023 and that are not finished yet. And so when I finish those things, the 2023 project book will be complete. Nothing else will go back into it. And I should do a flip through, like chronologically, and show like the evolution of my paper craft, because that's where I really started. I was like, I want little dividers for these projects. I want to make them so they're themed. And the growth that I had from beginning of 2023 to end of 2023 is crazy. And just like to show that like not everything is always going to be perfect. And I still have times where I'm like, ugh, that theme was rough. Like didn't have stuff for it, or I wasn't very inspired by it. But like the way I put things together is so much better than when I started, and like noticing that growth is really cool. So maybe one day I'll do a flip through of that. But I don't have those pages, so I'm not realizing like I should put a necklace on or something. I don't wear necklaces. I don't really dress up for you guys. I'm sorry. I wear my ratty Predator t-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. This is my Predator t-shirt that I love and that I've cut up. So, all right. So this one's an interesting one. This is Night Spider by Veronica Ginger. I think it's that, or in Ginger is how you say her name. She is a French cross-stitch designer who has dropped off the map. Like, I do not know the history here, so I cannot tell you why, but she is no longer able to be found. Like, her stuff is, she wrote some books, and those books are really hard to come by. There are a couple that are still out there reasonably you can purchase. But this particular pattern is from a book called Bugs, Birds, and Bugs, Birds, and Other Small Creatures, I think is what it's called. Or Other Small Animals. And it is, if I had my book, I would know. And it is no longer in print. You cannot find it. There's one person selling a copy on Amazon for $4,995 or something like that. And I originally came across this because it was on Pinterest, and I use Pinterest pretty much for recipes, but I also use it to collect like pixel art things that I might want to turn into cross stitch or do something like that. And this came up and I was like, oh, I really like that pattern. Let me go find it. Someone had like scanned in the whole pattern. I was like, let me go find it for real. And then realized I could not. Like, I could not find this pattern anywhere. So I saved it, sat on it, thought about it a long time. And then when this, like, I just needed a new start one day. I need a new start. What have I got? What have I got the stuff for? And I looked through and was like, oh, I do have everything for this. I was like, you know what? It is for personal use. I'm not selling this pattern. I am not doing anything with this pattern. So it is out there. There is no way to purchase it, which does make me feel a little like, but again, I am not selling it. I am not remaking it. I am not doing anything with it. It's just for personal use. So this is where I've gotten on Night Spider by Veronica and Ginger. And I've made some really good progress, and I'm really loving this pattern. I'm really sad I can't find the whole book. I really love this pattern. It uses a lot of like half stitches and to make like things feel more gauzy and have like depth. It's really pretty. I'm stitching this on 28 count in Bloom by Bestitch Me. Actually came in the same box as the sunflower that we saw earlier on You Rock. And when I got this out and was like, okay, I have all the floss for it. This is the one I'm going to start. I really like it. I always go to my sister to help me choose fabric because I struggle with color. I am shade blind with blues and yellows, and it just is very hard for me to pick colors that go together. One of the reasons why I like cross stitch, it tells me exactly what I'm doing. So I was like, Sarah, help me pick up fabric. And she picked this, and I was like, really? Pink and blue? Like, the pink is not, it is way pinker than it is showing up on these. The lights are kind of washing it out. It is pink and blue. And she's like, yeah, I think it'll look really pretty. And as soon as I started stitching, I'm like, Oh my gosh, the green on that pink is so pretty. It looks like a sunset. It looks like a spider, you know, stitching in the sunset. The gray and black is going to be down here. I don't think it goes full black. I think it's just shades of gray. Down there is going to look so bold on it. It is going to look so pretty. And I think it will really pop. I'm trying to remember now. I think the web is done in like a light silver. So I'm hoping that shows up. I might have to play around with that to make sure it's actually visible. But I'm really, really loving this. Just realizing how long this episode is. That's crazy. Probably because I'm rambling so much. But that is my start. I am like already 60% done with this. Like it was 2 days. It's very small. It's like 2,000 stitches. So it is almost done. And I think I am going to frame it, and I might take it into work. That might be one I put in my cubicle because it's a nice little small and it's colorful with a little bit of spooky vibe, which is what I love. So that was the start of my like, okay, I'm looking for more. Honestly, the pink makes it less spooky than it normally comes off of. I'm gonna do this one last. But it's still quite a little bit of like, ooh, just a little bit of spideriness. I like that. All right. So this teeny tiny start is Moth Planchette by Moon Rabbit Stitches. It is actually part of a set of pattern that comes with a Ouija board pattern as well. I think you might be able to just buy it separately. I'm not sure. But I have a Ouija board. I have my Ouija board from Tiny Modernist from a couple years ago. And I am looking to make a set with that of like divination themed pieces. Or at the very least are like themed by color. And I felt like my Ouija board needed a planchette. And so I started one. And I am almost done. It is a very small start. Again, it's like 2,000 stitches. But it is so pretty. And it matches perfectly. So I just have a little bit of fill-in around the edges and then the inside the moth, and that is done. I am probably going to finish that this week sometime. And I'm thinking for my finish, I have this frame. This probably needs like, it broke and the person that sold it to me had like finished the break, but it kind of like needs to really be finished. This is a frame I bought a million years ago. It is like an antique frame. And I bought it for another project, and then it was on eBay, and it was way smaller than their measurements. Like, I think they measured again from edge to edge, and we're like, it's a 7-inch frame. And I'm like, no, this is like 4.5 inches or something like that. I don't get why people do that. Like, why would I ever, like, yes, you should maybe include the full, like, edge to edge measurement. But then when you say it is a 5x7 picture frame, that should be what's in here, you know? That should be what's inside this glass. So I think this will look really pretty in there. I might paint this black, depending. I feel like that's kind of a lot of white going on, but I might like a lot of white. I don't know. And I'm going to be super excited about that. So yeah, this little tiny sucker, almost done. Almost done. And yeah, nothing crazy. Feel it. All right. So the last one is, this is Hocus Pocus by the Prairie Schooler. It is a set of, it's like a full piece, but you could stitch it as ornaments, and I've decided to stitch it that way as little ornaments. For not necessarily for ornaments, but for like basket filler, little smalls. Like I just want little spooky things to like scatter around and fill baskets with. So I got started on that, and there's my little start. This is, I didn't say for my last one, did I? This one is 28 Count Dragon's Lair by Bestitch Me from her Dragon box earlier this year. Can you tell I love Bestitch Me fabrics? Mostly because they're gorgeous. And yeah, I got a little start. I'm almost done this card. I just need to finish the owl's body needs filled in here. And then that one will be done. I originally picked this because I was like, oh, perfect. It's the perfect size to get the whole pattern on. And then realized, Lauren, if you're stitching them as cards, you need to leave like space so that you can cut them out and have enough fabric for finishing. Whereas in the pattern, they are stitched right next to each other. And I was like, oh. So the good thing is I had another fabric that I was like torn between. I was like, ooh, it's either this one or this one. They both look great. I will be fine with either one. So I'm going to do as many as I can on this really lovely piece. And then I will just move to the next really lovely piece. I will not be sad to have them on multiples. I definitely want to do more of these Prairie Schoolers. She's got a couple different sets of these like smalls. I definitely want to do more of them. So I will just keep going until, you know, I run out of fabric or whatever. Another thing I'm doing is I'm swapping out the flosses for some of my overdyed flosses that I have from various boxes, Christmas gifts, you know, specialty things I've gotten here and there. I have a bunch of them and I'm always afraid to use them because I'm like, what if I don't have enough to finish the project? Well, this, it doesn't matter. As long as I can finish a single card in it, I can stop and change because not all these need to be exact matches. They're going to be separate individual pieces. So if suddenly I have to switch and go back to the straight DMC colors, it will not look weird because they will just look like from another set. It won't be that difficult. So as long as I can get through a card, I'm good. And so I really like that. This is, I think, 32 count. And so each card is like 2 by 3. And that is like perfect. Perfect for what I'm trying to do with them. So I am really enjoying these. Like the vintage retro Halloween lately has just like grabbed me. Like, I'll put it back up here. This little moon guy. This is so like my vibe lately. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. And yeah, that's my progress. He's so cute. I am thinking about maybe changing the white to like a yellow. I feel like owls have like yellow eyes. That feels appropriate to me. That is all. Is that all my new start? Yes, that is all my new starts. So I have really been enjoying picking up more Halloween stuff, picking up more smalls. The Prairie Schooler piece is actually a pretty big piece. I think it's like 11,000 stitches total. Maybe 10,000 stitches total. And I was really surprised because I was thinking of it as individual little cards. I was like, oh, actually, altogether, that is a pretty big project. But all my other projects have been smalls, and they've been super fun to just pop through. Excuse me. I'm just looking, I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think it's because I forgot the CryptoNaturalist sampler earlier, and it just like threw me off. Yeah. So upcoming, I'm going to just kind of pop this here if you're still hanging out and listening. You might see some different stuff coming up on the page. So I have been, like I said, getting back into journaling, and it has been really fun and like a different kind of creative. And so I think I'm going to put some papercraft stuff on here. So I'm definitely going to upload the creation of a floss book, because one, that meets both criteria and they're super fun and useful. So I'm going to be uploading a floss book to just like how I create them, like measurements and things like that, in case you're looking for something like that. I haven't seen anybody really put those up on YouTube. I haven't really been looking, honestly. So who knows? They're probably out there. Just walking through like how to create one, what they're used for, blah, blah, blah. And then I might also do So my friends and I are starting up a new adventure campaign, and it is one that has a lot more work on my part. Like, as I'm the GM, I run all the monsters and everything, and this one just happens to be a little more work. It's a conversion, so like I have to keep more in my brain than I normally would at the table. And so I thought, I'm going to create a dedicated journal. Also, I think it would be super fun. I'm going to create a dedicated journal for this campaign. And I thought I will go through the process of setting that up. I see every once in a while people doing journals for players and for like character creation and stuff like that. And I think that is super fun. I just haven't seen one from the GM's perspective. Probably because I feel like the overlap between GMs, journal girlies, and like decorative journal girlies is like not a big overlap. So we're gonna try it. I'm gonna throw one together and see, and just like walk through that process with you guys. And also like introduce more of the gaming side of what I do, because that's a big part of my life. So some fun stuff coming up. And then I might do a journal, like a regular old journal setup page for like September or October down the line. Like, you'll just kind of see that content. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's something new and interesting and you're like, oh, I've never seen that before, stick around. I will ramble through it. I'm very good at that. I don't ever shut up, actually. So yeah, so that is what's coming up. Should I do the YouTube thing of like, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. No, that feels weird. I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoy this. I enjoy talking to you. It's, like I said, a highlight of stitching for me. So have a wonderful week. I hope we're getting into those fall vibes soon. Or you're on your last of your summer vacation. Enjoy it. And stay safe. Stay sane, guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.